At 6 minutes past 5, on the afternoon of March 27, 1977, the most experienced pilot in the entire KLM fleet pushed 4 engines to full power on a runway he could not see. Half a mile ahead of him, hidden in the fog, another fully loaded Boeing 747 was still sitting on that same runway. Neither crew could see the other. The control tower could not see either of them, and the captain of the moving aircraft had just been asked a simple question. Is the other plane clear? He answered in 2 words that he believed it was. He was wrong. 13 seconds later, 583 people were dead. This is still the deadliest accident in the history of aviation, and nothing was mechanically wrong with either aircraft. Neither plane was even supposed to be here. Both were bound for Las Palmas on the neighboring island. But that afternoon, a bomb planted by a separatist group exploded inside the Gran Canaria airport terminal. A warning of a second device shut the airport completely. Every inbound aircraft had to divert, and the nearest field was Los Rodeos, a small airport in the hills of Tenerife. 1 runway, 1 taxiway, no ground radar. It was not built for this. Within hours, it was overwhelmed. Giant jets parked nose to tail until the taxiway itself was blocked. In command of KLM Flight 4805 was Captain Van Zanten, 50 years old, and not just a senior pilot. He was KLM's chief flying instructor on the 747, the man who trained and tested other pilots. Remember that, while they waited, he chose to refuel at Tenerife. His own crew suggested they wait. He overruled them, and then the last variable arrived. Fog. Thick cloud sat on the airport, dropping visibility to around 300 meters, less than the length of the aircraft they were about to move. 2 jumbo jets, 1 runway, no radar, a blocked taxiway, a tightening clock, and a captain used to being the most capable man in any cockpit. With the taxiway blocked, the tower told both aircraft to taxi down the runway itself. KLM would taxi to the far end, turn around, and line up. Pan Am would follow and turn off the runway at the 3rd exit, clearing the way. A simple plan, but Pan Am's exit required an almost impossible 148-degree turn for a jumbo jet. There were no signs. In the fog, the crew counted exits, missed it, and kept rolling, still on the runway. At the far end, Van Zanten completed his turn, lined up into the fog, and began to advance the throttles. His first officer stopped him. They had no clearance yet. He throttled back. The first officer radioed for their route clearance, and as he finished, added 5 words that would end the day. We are now at takeoff. It was not standard. It was not clear. Did it mean they were waiting at the takeoff point or taking off right now? At that same instant, Van Zanten said 2 words of his own. We're going, and released the brakes. The tower, hearing the ambiguous call, tried to hold them. Stand by for takeoff. I will call you. That instruction could have saved them. It was never heard, because in that exact moment, the Pan Am crew keyed their microphone. We're still taxiing down the runway. 2 signals, 1 frequency, 1 instant. They canceled into a single piercing whistle. For 3 seconds, the KLM cockpit heard only noise. Both warnings, gone. Then, the flight engineer, a 17,000-hour man, spoke up. Is he not clear, that Pan American? A direct question. Van Zanten answered 1 certain word. Oh, yes? And he kept going. Ahead in the fog, the Pan Am crew finally saw landing lights racing toward them. They hauled left, toward the grass. They almost made it. Traveling about 140 knots, the KLM had just begun to lift off when it struck the other jet, tearing it open, then crashed back down and slid until its fuel ignited. All 248 aboard the KLM died. Of the Pan Am, 335 died, and 61 survived. 583 people on the ground, in good aircraft, in normal procedure. The official cause is simple. The captain took off without clearance. True, but every safeguard failed at once. The phrasing, the overlapping radios, the missing radar, the missed turn, the clock. The cause of Tenerife was never one man. There were 3 trained professionals in that cockpit. The first officer hesitated. The flight engineer asked the question out loud. The information needed to stop was right there. And it didn't stop because of the one factor no checklist covers. The authority gradient. When the most senior, most respected person in the room is the one making the mistake, the people who could correct him often don't. Not because they are afraid, but because the whole culture assumes he is right. Van Zanten was not reckless. He was a confident expert, completely certain and completely wrong. That is the real lesson of Tenerife. And it changed flying forever. From this wreckage came crew resource management, the training that gives every voice in the cockpit the authority to speak and to be heard, so that the next time someone asks, is he not clear, the airplane stops.